Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Cow Corner Dugout, day 5 of the IPL. And as much as I was lamenting at the second day of the IPL, that damn man, are we just going to have these 200-run flat bets? And then the script changes. We have a 127 game with CSK, then we have a 150 game, and today a 142. So now the percentage of games which are sub 200 are 60%. So that's been a very interesting change over the weekend from the way the IPL started to now seeing that on day 5 we're actually having very evenly spread out games. And to discuss that with me today, we have Nirav and Shamak. Welcome, Shamak. Shamak's making his debut on the Cow Corner podcast. Welcome, Shamak.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
And Nirav today is very clear that he is a Delhi Capitals fan.
I supported Delhi Capitals too. Because I
Correct.
didn't have
And
an
I
LSG hat. And honestly, if I did, I wouldn't wear it. If I had a jersey, I wouldn't wear it. Because LSG's jersey, Shamak, first question to you. Is it the worst ever jersey in IPL history?
I think the first season's LSG jersey was the worst ever. This is an improvement on that, but it is still
Think so?
quite terrible.
It's like
the blue
it's
one.
like a
The light
it's like
blue, the horrible light blue. You know what that reminded me of? Those old glue bottles that used to come. I'm talking. I say old.
Oh,
It must have been those 30-year-old glue
Cam,
bottles. That's what it reminded me of.
Camlin. Hmm. Yeah.
and talking about teams to support. In fact, I remember last year I was doing this little trip for each day, one city in the IPL for the first 3 days before my age showed up. So the third day of the trip was a trip to Vizag, and it was interestingly a DC and LSG game. And I was just thinking, am I the only fan who's actually paid money, got a flight ticket, traveled to Vizag, and then gone and watched the DC LSG game? Of course, I didn't go only for that. I had some other work there in Vizag to meet somebody, and the person that I met incidentally was doing something with the Andhra Pradesh government, and he took me to the DC lounge, and there I see the DC. I forget his name, Grandi, the Delhi Capitals owner,
Kiran.
and I came there in a CSK T-shirt, and he sent word. The guy who's having whiskey there, please ask him to remove his CSK shirt. And they gave me a Delhi Capitals jersey, which was I think 2 sizes lower. So it actually looked like a Japanese school kid, wearing like this blouse, and I kind of wore it for about 1.5 hours. But I just reminded of that game that I saw last year, the DC LSG game. But coming to today's game, 7 batters that LSG had. Despite that, they only got to 140. What did you make of it?
Oh, me. Um, the thing with LSG is, yes, I think there was some movement with the new ball early up front. And DC did well, bowled really good. But LSG actually batted like they expected conditions to improve, and they didn't. And they had a very half-committed approach, right? It wasn't a let's go guns blazing, which they were doing last year, seems to be the formula with most teams. You go hard, up front. But 48 in the power play is not really one way or the other, right? It's and then they kept losing wickets. And yes, there was fantastic bowling from Ngidi, from Natarajan, Akshar Patel. Am I missing someone? Mukesh did really well up front. So
They
they
put
reached the death overs without a finishing plan, right? And then they had to bring in their eighth batter because they didn't have one.
I think the team selection was all over the place for LSG. I know we've had a bit of chat offline about Rishabh Pant opening and Markram moving to number 3 and things like that. But honestly, if you look at the playing 11, why would you only have what was it, 7 regular batters, and then you had to bring in an impact sub because they've lost wickets? You mentioned that they
7
didn't
batters,
score.
including a what's called a Banmutti, a debutant who we really don't know whether he'll crack it at this level. Yes, there's promise, but you don't, that can't be one of 7, which is what
Exactly.
CSK did a couple of nights back and had the same
Surprise, huh?
consequence, right? But the thing with CSK is that they still had a few bowling options, right? Because what LSG showed today is that there was a lot of fight, there was a lot of belief, because of in their attempt to defend the 140. But showing fight and belief is all fine when you can't show, when you're showing a lack of bowling options. So it's
And batting options.
well, they had batting options, lack of batting options to begin with, but they pushed themselves in the corner when they actually had three fast bowlers who again did really well, not taking anything away from them. But their remaining 8 overs were where the game was lost. Right? If there was
Right.
no sustained pressure from Nokia, from Shahbaz, 1 over from Akram, I think also went for 12, 13. So the thing is with the 140 total, you have to keep taking wickets. And even with 4 wickets down, the asking rate never went above 8. So the only way to keep pushing that asking rate up and to take it to a 10 is with wickets. And there was a 100-run partnership after 26 for 4. So
I think 140 is a very early to mid 2000s T20 total. I don't think it's certainly not a regularly defendable total in 2026.
yeah, well, three finals. It's been a winning score, unfortunately. So over the years, but yeah, again, 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
Exactly.
But we do have these odd games in the IPL. I remember last year, I think Punjab
I think
played KKR.
Punjab defended
20.
111, I think.
Something, yeah.
111, I think. They bowled KKR out for 96.
And of course,
What
India
a game that
famously
was.
defended 120 against Pakistan a couple of World Cups ago.
Yeah.
But those are outliers. Those aren't the norm.
I think that's also because that total was probably how much they could get on that particular surface. And interestingly, that's another point that I want to bring from that game. That game we saw Rishabh Pant opening for India. We had that maverick knock. And today we've seen Rishabh Pant open for Lucknow Super Giants, where his usual position is to bat in the middle overs because they had a very settled opening combination of Markram and Mitchell Marsh. But today that was kind of broken. As much as Rishabh Pant was didn't last too long, but are some of the Indian players basically trying to push their weight around to say that, bosses, the Indian Premier League, I want a position of my choice to break into the Indian team. What's the point of being a captain if I can't get the position that I want? We've seen both players from KL Rahul as well as Rishabh Pant do that. Where do you think their ideal position is for this team? One thing is where will they prosper or where will they do well, but with the team they have, where do you think they should bat?
I think my opinion is uh, it's a little bit different. So the way I look at it is who has the higher ceiling between Rishabh Pant and Aiden Markram. I think probably over the last few years, Nirav, again, this is something we mentioned offline. Markram's record, especially in the IPL, is probably a little bit better than Pant's. But if you're looking purely as a batter in T20 cricket, I would argue that Pant's ceiling is higher. So why not let him face a bulk of the deliveries? We've seen over the years that whoever opens tends to do well, and that's where most of the runs are scored. So would you not rather have a Rishabh Pant who could, on his day, absolutely rip apart the best bowlers in the world, or would you rather have Markram who would probably consistently do quite well, but very rarely is he going to, if he bats for 15 overs, it's very rare that he's going to completely take the game away from the opposition. Whereas if Rishabh
It
Pant
happened
bats
in
for
the World Cup. No, it happened in the World Cup.
absolutely. So it's not like it's not unheard of. Absolutely, I'm not going to take anything away from Markram, but my point is Pant's ceiling is probably a little bit higher than Markram's, according to me.
Potential ceiling.
And
Potential, fair enough.
And I have another question. I mean, like, as much as we debate about which position, who is really an LSG fan? And that's my question. Of course, there are fans of LSG who come to the ground wearing a jersey. But, I mean, there's so much of identity crisis there. You had KL Rahul not too long ago in that LSG jersey. Now he's playing for Delhi Capitals. And then you had Rishabh Pant, who basically swapped places. He used to play for Delhi Capitals. He's playing for Lucknow in that jersey now. Now, I mean, like, it's tough being an LSG fan. Do you think there are LSG fans that exist?
Well, I'm sure
I'm
there
sure.
are. I mean,
Yeah,
there are a
I'm sure
small
they do exist.
percentage, but they did well in their first couple of seasons, so you would expect a growing fan base. Based on social media numbers, I still think they would be 9 or 10. I, I,
Oh,
it's
9 or
but
10
because
in
they've
terms
not
of.
in
In
I
terms
thought
terms
you
of
said
of
9 or 10 fans. Okay.
no, in terms of the
not
position
that bad.
of social media following. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, right? There has not been an iconic player long enough, right?
Right.
I think Rishabh Pant has the opportunity to build a legacy. He's pretty young. I mean, it's what, 27, 28, 10 years from under 19, so 29, 2016 batch, right? He was 28, 29. So I think he's got an opportunity to build a legacy if he lasts long enough in this team. But there's been a precedent of players not lasting with
I
that
do also think
phenomenon.
that LSG have kind of become the default villains of the IPL in some sense. I know that their social media has been criticized in parts for the kinds of things that they post, the kind of tone that they've used in the past. Uh, their owner has occasionally rubbed people up the wrong way, for better or for worse. Um, and I think
Weren't
Rathi
you
as
on the
well.
LSG account a couple of years back?
I have never been on the LSG account. I have
Correct.
worked on IPL accounts. LSG has not been one of them.
Okay. So,
No,
because
but
I
I think
remember your company was brought in midway, right? In one of the
yes, yes.
seasons when.
So my former company was certainly, in fact, this thing still works with LSG. But no, no shade to them. It's
No, no,
not.
I'm not shading them. No, no, no. I'm not trying to shade them. I think they were taken off the account and brought back mid-season because the other agency screwed up and had some
There
that
are
happened, right?
stuff like that
Something like that
happens. Yeah.
happened. Yeah.
No, but I think just in general, like even Rathi, he sort of tends to rub people up the wrong way. So it just my impression as a completely objective fan is that LSG kind of right now seem like the team that you don't want to do too well, like kind of the opposite of the underdogs, where who everyone roots for. I feel like that's what LSG is right now.
That's an interesting position to have for LSG. But I thought the most demonized team was either CSK, RCB, or MI because of warring fan bases, each one painting the
But
other.
see, that's
But this
that's
is
more of
interesting.
the
The pro
RCB
fan
fan
base is substantial.
and stuff like that. It's not
Hmm.
it's not like the general IPL fan base dislikes RCB, MI,
Right,
or CSK for that matter.
that way, got it. But coming back to that earlier point that I had in that slide, what does Rishabh Pant need to do to get into the Indian side, and what does KL Rahul need to do to get into the Indian side? They've probably picked their positions thinking that, man, this is my best bet to get back to the Indian side, and right now there is no space
So
for an
I think I think Indian cricket has moved beyond KL Rahul, irrespective of how well he does. In the T20 setup, he's a fixture currently in the one-day setup and then the test setup, right? I think in the T20 setup, we moved beyond him. Um, he's 33, 34. Yes, as Steve Bhai said, that ship has sailed. So I think what for KL Rahul, his best seasons have been as an opener. He had a great 18-19 with Punjab. He had a great 2021. He was the Orange Cap winner one of those years, if I remember. And last year, I think they tried not to make him open because they had some opening options, and then eventually they brought him up to open. And I think they went into the season knowing that he will play all games as an opener. So I think his position is fairly well settled in this squad. So the other opener might be rotated because also the problem is there is no space in the DC. We discussed this a couple of times. There is no space in the DC middle order for another batsman. I mean, the guys they had sitting on the bench today, Tarun Nair, Ashutosh Sharma, um, Abhishek Porel, and one or two more I'm forgetting, who are all middle order players who did. I mean, Ashutosh Sharma does not get a game, right? I mean, he's
right.
their finisher. He's their defined finisher for the last year, and he's had a very good season last year. He's had a good domestic run as well. So given that, and I'm forgetting one or two people. I mean, there's Prithvi Shaw as an opening option, of course, but there is no dearth of middle order batters for DC, right? Um, so given that scenario, I think it's best KL opens with Rishabh Pant. I mean, firstly, LSG has to settle that there's seven best batters. I don't know if they've got that yet, because I have a feeling, yeah, Steve Bhai is again our opener slot. I mean, there's Jaiswal, Suryavanshi in the waiting queue. There's Rituraj, who's never been
Exactly.
Shubman
considered.
Gill as well. Let's not forget.
Yeah, so Shuman Gill is, you know,
Waiting.
we've our orange cap holders, winners don't get into the playing 11, right?
Sai Sudarshan
So
as well.
Sai Sudarshan doesn't get in, Shreyas Iyer doesn't get in. So that's, I mean, there's a for Indian cricket is going to have, there are going to be some things which work and some things which don't. Ishan Kishan comes out of the blue and makes it. It happens, and then good for him, good for the people, and I think we are in a position where there will be 25 people rotated over a 2-year period, so which is fine. I think all players have come to terms with it. I think even perhaps a Shreyas Iyer who has probably come to terms with the fact that he's going to play only one day cricket, probably, right? Despite the fact that he probably merits a spot in all three, but there is there is not a gap which needs to be filled in our batting department.
Right.
LSG, coming back to LSG, that was the point. I'm trying to go through their website and see who their top seven batters are. And I think they might want to consider bringing in a Josh Inglis in place of a Anrik Nokia. Like swap out a batter, bring in an Indian bowler, which they have a couple. Because which comes to the other point, which I wanted to figure out is why is Mayank not in the squad,
Yeah.
not in the playing 11?
He was
Was he
cleared.
on the?
He was
Cleared as far
apparently
as
cleared. If he was fit enough to play, but why is he not
yeah,
in the 11?
mentally, I know he's got a full clearance. Was he even in the?
I don't think he
No,
was
he
even
wasn't.
put in
He
the
wasn't even in
substitutes.
the,
He wasn't even in the reserves for
in
today.
the substitutes. Yeah. So they have an Akib Navi. They have a what's his name, Mayank. So I don't think they need.
Akib Nabi is DC, right?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Mayank and one more fast bowler they have. No, who am I forgetting?
Avesh Khan.
Avesh. Sorry, that's what I meant. So they have these two options in place of a. I think. I don't know. Is it true that he's not available? What's his name? Josh Inglis.
See,
I think I know he postponed his wedding.
I
As
don't know
far as
what
I
other.
know, I can. It's very easy to find out this information without having his phone number.
His Instagram.
Probably.
We need a Gen Z person to answer that, and answering that hit is Trinay Surendranath from yesterday. Trinay, is Josh Inglis married? I thought Gen Z kids would know the answers to these
Okay,
questions.
so
That's a very niche question these days. He could be, he couldn't be.
That's an answer even I could have given, but I thought you guys are more tuned
No,
with something.
he's getting married after the tournament. I
yes,
think.
there you go. Steve Bhai has
pushed it.
confirmed Inglis is available. He's part of their
Yeah.
LSG's Insta. So he's sitting around. I mean, I don't know if I saw him today.
Gretzky is on the bench as well. I don't know if he's on the impact list, but he was. But Gretzky is in the squad as well. Both of them are available. I thought you were adding a funny spin to it, but yeah, both were available. I think they wanted the extra pace with Nokia, but he got hammered, didn't he? He went for like 40.
Nokia has not been at his best for years at this point. Like he's
Yeah, I think the comment was made by where Nokia at 100% is lethal and Nokia at 98% is.
Yeah, that was me. That was me.
That's
They could have played Avesh. They could have played Avesh.
so-
They had or Digvesh for better output. I feel Mukesh was surprisingly good. If you want to go on to the bowling.
Yeah,
Prince
we're
as
just
well.
picking. I don't think we're going in an order of sorts, but I think there was just some points that we had, and I think we're just trying to ask those questions in terms of where did LSG kind of go wrong, and that's where I think a question came saying that they pack in a little bit too much of batting, and what could they have done? Like clearly, Andre Nokia wasn't in his best elements, and they only had 12 bowlers. Sorry, 12 great overs sent down by their three pacers. And after that, if you look at the other 8 overs, I think Nokia went for 4 overs 39. Then one guy went for 16, one guy went for 13. That's 29 plus 39 is how much? Almost 68 runs. That's given off 6 overs.
I mean,
And in a 140 game, that's a lot of runs.
Yeah, they gave Marker one over as well, which is.
So the thing is, I mean, okay, so let's look at the bright side. This wouldn't have come about without a great opening spell from Shami, and I think Mohsin Khan was special today. The whatever that's called, the speed reading on his after his ball said 132, 133, but he looked a lot quicker. Like in the sense that the ball was hitting the bat rather than the bat hitting the ball. It was so there was serious pace and bounce happening. Prince also did well, I guess. Prince did well in the Delhi Premier League, by the way. He was one of the star performers. So he's coming off
Prince
some
only
form.
Prince only bowled 3. Is there any reason why they didn't give him another one? Like, I think he only bowled 3 today. Is there
Yeah,
is
you're
there a
right.
reason why? Yeah, why didn't he get another one? He was one
He
of the
bowled
3 good
he
bowlers.
bowled the 12th or 13th over, and he was still getting a bit of nipple, which was it was nice to see that the white ball in the 13th, 14th over was moving around a bit. There were two back-to-back overs where with Mohsin and Prince. I mean, the game was over by then. We
Yeah,
knew that DC would make it, but still.
they
I
had
think
they had
they had like 3 overs, hemorrhaging 13 runs, and in between, I think, uh, in between over there was Andrik Nokia giving a 7-run over because Nokia went for about 39 in his fourth, but I think that's probably where.
Nokia's first two went for a lot. I mean, there was 25 plus in the first two, so he pulled it back later, I guess.
And I think LSG realized that their pacers were going for runs. Like, Nokia was in Markram was hit for 13. Then Nokia came back for the last over, went for 7. Then Mohsin went for 13. Again, Nokia, they said, okay, let's throw one more over of Nokia, and he went for 13 there. I think by that time the game was well and
Yep, the
truly
game was
done
done
in
by then.
17th.
If you want to talk about where LSG went wrong, can we please talk about that batting order? I seriously think they messed that up. They played their cards wrong. They had a really good batsmen, but I don't think Pant should have been opening. And I don't think if you have Markram and Pant, I don't think you play Markram at 3 and you have Pant opening. I don't think that's a good move. I seriously don't.
We just discussed that some time back, and I think even I felt that what is your ideal order? And I know someone like Rishabh Pant, we've seen that he's reasonably successful if he's batting, in the first 6 overs. That is his best chance of success. But you have seen success with respect to this opening combination last year at the IPL. Even if you have like a flat track, or even if you have a tougher track to bat on, both Markram and Marsh have done well for you. So was number 3 the right position for Pant? And even last year, I think at number 3 they had Nicholas Puran, which meant Pant was coming much later and he was not really going to be effective. So yes, I think my ideal batting order would be to not unsettle the opening combination, Pant at 3, preferably
Puran.
having a point of entry with in the power play.
Sharma, what do you think about what is your personal opinion on this left-right business? I think somewhere these guys, take it too seriously, so that you have a left-hander, right-hander at all times.
I would say it's not necessarily about a left-right. It's about having complementary batters. If you have two guys who are excellent against pace but who completely struggle against spin, that's an issue. If you have two guys who are who are terrible against leg spin, for example, or off spin, whatever the case may be, that's the issue. It's not necessarily a left-right issue. I mean, someone like Nitish Rana, for example, the conventional wisdom is you don't bowl you bowl an off spinner to a left-hander, but someone like Nitish Rana kind of eats up off spin. So it's not necessarily a left-hand right-hand thing. It's more about just making sure that someone is able to complement the other one's weakness. But with that said, I
personally think I mean I can second guess what pretty much went on in that dressing room. We have two left-handed batsmen and two right-handed batsmen in the top 4. Let's spread them out.
Yeah.
I have a feeling somebody came up with this as an analytics. I mean, there is data to back it, but there is it's one of those kind of things where data can be interpreted how you want, right? For example, like yesterday we were discussing about GT's phenomenal strike rate. The fact is that they play 7 games in Ahmedabad. That is the high scoring ground in the country, right? So data will match the variables you put into it in that sense, right? So I feel, I don't know, man. I think, yeah.
And also, to your point, I don't know whether it makes a huge difference for someone to open or bat at number 3. I mean, yes, we have seen technically that the openers generally tend to face the most balls, score the most runs. But if you are worried about an early wicket, then a guy batting at number 3 and entering in the 4th over versus just opening, playing from the first over itself, how much of a difference does it actually make? So unless you're saying, someone like exchanging an opener for a number 5 or 6, that yes becomes a big difference. But opening or batting number 3, at the end of the day, how much of a difference does it really make?
Okay, I'll put it this way: if you have Markram and if you have Marsh opening, would you if one of them get out swinging, would you rather have Rishabh Pant walk in Or would you rather have Rishabh Pant get out as an opener and have Markram walking in when they could potentially bowl
That
spin?
you can make that argument against for any sort of like you can make that
Yeah,
same
for-
argument about Virat Kohli
anybody.
opening IPL.
Yeah,
Like, what
but
about-
RCB have a they have a pretty good batting lineup. They have Patidar and they have a couple of other
No,
decent
I'm not talking
guys.
about right now. I'm just saying in general. Like if you can make that argument.
Maybe I
with
think
any
he's maybe
formation.
not able to
I mean,
articulate it,
okay,
but I think the
so-
perception is probably that somebody like a Rishabh Pant is not very good when it comes to the moving ball, and someone like Marsh and Makram are fairly solid. They've seen this, they've done this over the course of the IPL. But if Rishabh Pant is coming, let's say, in the fourth over point of entry, by the time your swing is gone. So if there is some amount of swing, do you want to waste Rishabh Pant at the top in the hope that he would hit, unless it's a really flat track? I think that might be a school of thought because that's
Okay, so I will interject by saying that no team approaches a game saying that let's hide our captain and best batter.
Exactly.
You can't win a tournament with that attitude. You can't. Your best batter, I mean, if you pay 27 crores or whatever for him, you have to assume that he's captain and best batter. You put the pressure. I mean, he's capable of handling the pressure of playing, swinging balls. Three balls that swing a bit. So I feel it's unfair to say that to defend, to say push. Let's hide him from the fast bowlers. It's not. I mean, that's probably a wrong way of looking at. Saying that about a batter like Rishabh Pant. So I catch you right there on that.
Mhm.
With that default, no other team should be in that position, right? Of saying that let's keep our best batter for later. You don't. You say put your best batter up front.
Nevertheless, you've split up a successful opening pair with Marsh and
Yes,
Markram.
right.
They did well last
No, I
year.
don't
Why
think
would
they
you
did the
split
right thing today.
Yeah.
Let me make myself very, very clear. I do think it should be Markram and Marsh, and I do think it should be Joss English at number 3. I mean, honestly, I think Pant and Puran should be down the order a bit. 4 and 5.
And I think it goes back to your point again here. Though Pant may be your most valued player in terms of economics there, I don't think Rishabh Pant has demonstrated ability to bat. Like somebody like even Rohit Sharma, right? When the ball is swinging, he doesn't have the ability to to score runs. When that swing dies down, or there isn't so much swing, you see a very different Rohit Sharma. Same way, I think with Pant, and I think that's a comment that even somebody else is also saying, that Pant against swing bowling is like feeding him, feeding the sharks or feeding him to the sharks, because he tends to get out. And I haven't seen Rishabh Pant really dominate. That 118 that he scored against RCB last year, as the last game where he did that dance and all that. Which position did he score that from? Was it from 4
Number 3.
or was it
Number 3
Three.
coming in the second over.
Yeah.
second over? Wow, that's some level of
Second or third
detail.
over.
Okay.
No, I
But
mean,
yeah,
they brought it up in commentary today. So that's how I know.
okay. So I
I
think
don't remember that game.
So I think on tracks where if you're able to score 118 in a T20, I'm going to assume that the track is fairly placid or flat. But if it's a 140, 150 game and you have to score runs there, somehow from whatever little eyeballing that we all of us are doing as fans, I'm not very sure that Rishabh Pant has the game for that, especially against swing. Kind of vicious today from both sides. So I think it might be wiser to have somebody like Rishabh Pant come at 3, hoping that your point of entry is the 4th over or the 6th over. But if it's going to be the 6th or 7th over, then you're stuck with the same problem that you had last year. Rishabh Pant is not going to be successful when the field is spread out. How do you basically then manage that? And it's through
He can't manage swing. He can't manage with this field spread out. Why is he in the squad?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. I
really.
was going to say that.
Just
Like,
to interject,
really.
this is the guy
You
who's been
have
India's
to-
best batter over the last few years. It's not like this guy can't bat.
No,
Yeah, but he's not made runs for the last 2
But
years.
last
in
year,
T20.
he couldn't get the ball off the square last year. Fact.
Yeah.
But that was last year. When
Right.
people get bad form.
No, I think in the
that's-
last 7 years, I think Rishabh Pant is a very defensive batter. Rishabh is not that attacking batter that we think he is. Test matches, sure. ODIs very consistently scores 30, 40. But if you look at T20s, when you present sluggish tracks to him, I have not known Rishabh Pant to basically dominate attacks on tougher, sluggish tracks in Lucknow. And that's why last year I felt that, okay, even though these guys at Ekana have these black soil wickets, where you traditionally score 140 or 150, having your top 3 as Puran, Marsh and this thing, it gives you a certain insurance that you won't have a collapse. And if somebody has to score runs out of nowhere. Puran can score it, and then Pant consolidates. I thought that was going to be their game plan. But Pant is not somebody who comes and hits it unless and until it's a flat wicket. I'm not calling him a flat track bully, but this is just from what I have seen in the last 5-6 years of the IPL. Somebody can correct me if you have stats to prove otherwise.
So I've seen
right now it's a
for
fan
me, the
conversation.
first guy who ever took Jasprit Bumrah apart was Pant. And I've seen that match from very close quarters. It was at Wankhede, ball was doing a bit, and Pant
Was it
went after.
Wankhede or was it at Brabant?
It was 2019 at
2019 or 18.
No. Sorry, you're right. It was 2017 in Brabant. Was it?
Yeah.
No, so I'm okay. I'm talking about the 2019 game
Yeah.
in Wankhede. And I mean that Pant was a special player, right? So I don't know where that Pant is gone, because he seems to have lost his confidence playing strokes on the offside. He's just swinging across the line a bit too much for my liking. He's a quality enough player to have a 360-degree scoring ability. So the fact does he struggle against swing as much as any other opener would? Does he struggle against spin as much as any other middle order player would? So he can hit big sixes, so can half the other team members, right? So is he best suited at number 3? I don't know. As a wicket keeper, by keeping for 20 overs and then opening the batting, I don't know if that's the best thing you want from him.
I would also be interested in looking at stats of him as a captain versus not as captain. I feel like some players, the added responsibility sort of elevates their game, like we've seen with Virat Kohli, and to his credit, Shubman Gill as well. I feel like Pant is not that guy. I think Pant goes the opposite way, where he seems to prosper when he's living life uncomplicated, which is what he does in Test cricket so well. I feel like when you give him responsibility, and especially when the coaches tell him you have to bat a certain way, you have to set an example and not get out irresponsibly, I think that complicates his thinking. That's the same thing with
I think his career started going downhill from, when was it? From 20
when he became
2020.
when
21
the year
or
which
20.
Shreyas was injured and he became the captain, and then
Exactly.
when Shreyas came back, he was still the captain. I think
He was
his
still
career
the
started going downhill. I mean, as a stopgap captain, I could understand, but I think it definitely from that point of time, in all formats, his career has kind of gone downhill. I mean,
See,
yes,
for the
he's
first
special enough to provide the occasion great innings.
For the
But-
first 2 years of his career, first 2-3 years of his career, I think he was averaging like 50 in the IPL with an average of 150, 160. No captaincy. When he had the blonde streak of hair for Delhi Daredevils back then, he was really good. And then I think what the news report was, Ponting made him an anchor or something like that. He said, no, you have to bat slow. You're a really good batsman. And then, what happened? He took over captaincy from Iyer when he was injured, and then he lost form in the IPL and he hasn't gotten it back really. But again, we're going off one. I know this was one of my points, but we're going off. He got, what was it? Marsh hit the ball back and it hit Mukesh's hand and he got out.
Bad
So,
luck, yeah.
yeah, he could score 100 next game and we could all be proven wrong. But I still think he should.
No, but is the point? Is it the debate here is opening the best slot for him? He was an opening batsman at the under-19 level, which means nothing. He never, beyond that, he was not an opening batsman. For his Delhi state team, he was always a number 5, number 6. For his initial IPL team, which was Delhi Daredevils, for first 5 years, he was a number 4, number 4 at best. Always below that.
Well, that
first
makes for
100
an
games-
interesting assignment for I think for each of us, if you're able to go back with get some data or watch some footage, and then maybe we can have a little segment on tomorrow's show where we can check to see, okay, where do you really slot Rishabh Pant, because he is a very special player, but somehow in T20s I feel Rishabh Pant has been consistently underperforming. I was surprised that they even took him for the T20 World Cup in the West Indies and US, and they gave him a preferred slot to open or 3. I don't know.
Number
Because I
3.
think it was
Number
Kohli.
3.
Three.
Number
Kohli and
three.
Rohit were opening. Kohli and
Yeah.
Rohit.
Yes.
But that is probably the only position they could play him at that point. And but yes, I think Rishabh Pant in T20s to me still hasn't had that elite year at the IPL, due to which he's been picked to the Indian side in the last 5-6
Since
years.
2020. Yeah.
2020, yeah.
I mean, as
So
Shama
outs-
pointed out, he has indeed made some 400 plus seasons, but he hasn't looked like he's had a big season.
Flashes of
He's not
brilliance.
had a dominating game. Let's put it that way. He's not been a match winner.
That said, the match winner that we wanted to speak about today, and that is Samir Rizvi. What did you think of Samir Rizvi's innings? I thought it was a very, very calm innings under pressure. Though the first ball that he came, he tried swinging. They appealed for what was potentially a catch. But I think Samir Rizvi's come of age. I've only seen him as a CSK fan bat like 5-6 balls for CSK. Didn't get enough opportunities batting as low as 7 or 8. But in this side, today as an impact player, with a collapse coming in, I think it was a great opportunity for Rizvi to, cement. And I think yesterday Neerav was talking about how he admires Samir Rizvi, seeing some of his domestic footage. So why don't we talk about Samir Rizvi? What did each of you think of that knock?
Go,
Go with
Shamak.
Neerav or start.
Shamak?
Yeah, I think I'd seen him bat predominantly for CSK, and I wasn't particularly impressed with what I'd seen admittedly in the very limited opportunities that he had to bat. Today, he certainly, I mean, obviously he played the match-winning innings. I would still reserve judgment till I see him bat a little bit more. I think I'm very hesitant to put too much of stock into a single innings. But that being said, the way he batted today was certainly a very mature innings. It certainly showed a lot of practice, a lot of promise, and I would want to see him bat a lot more than this. But yeah, I'm going to reserve judgment till I see him bat and play a couple of more innings like this.
Right. What
So
about
there
you,
was this
Neerav?
game last year,
Mhm.
which was against Rajasthan Royals, I think. I'm trying to see the scorecard, which Kevin Peterson alluded to a couple of times in the commentary, where Samir Rizvi again in a situation where the rest of the team had collapsed, he carried them through. So I'm just trying to see that scorecard.
He's got 50 odd.
But yes, I
I
think
don't know which match he was talking about.
But I like the way he accelerated at the end, because at one point he was batting run a ball. Then I saw him 52 or 40 and then 70 or 47. So I think he basically anchored the chase very well. Usually these 140 chases are done to death by KL, because KL bats very well, especially in these kind of chases where the wicket is seaming and everybody else is struggling. It's only a 140 target. This is basically KL's game, but unfortunately KL didn't last too long today. But yes, Samir Rizvi came in and he was able to pace his innings very well.
Yeah, KL was out first ball. I mean, Pathum as well. I thought Pathum would go crazy, but I don't think we gave this wicket enough credit. I saw Mukesh Kumar hooping it around. It was swinging a lot really early on, and so did the LSG pacers. And I don't think they really looked at it much. The top three did absolutely nothing. I mean, Nitish Rana less than a run a ball. Akshar Patel was out first ball, I think. And then on paper, Tristan Stubbs' innings may not look like much, but what was it, 40 of 32? I think it was really good. I mean, you needed somebody to play like that, and Samir Rizvi himself, yeah, really good innings. Like Shamak said, I will reserve judgment. The season just starting. I didn't expect him to come out actually. I thought they'd bring out Ashutosh. I saw him on the impact subs list as well, but Rizvi seemed to be the correct choice, and he's made runs here.
Right.
So I'm looking at a scorecard of a Delhi Capitals versus Punjab Kings game from last year. It was the final game of the
league stage.
Yeah. And Punjab put a score of 206, and Samir made a 58 of 25 to deliver them the victory. I mean, it was pretty much. Well, it could have gone. I mean, there were 93 for 3 in 10 overs when he walked in. So
he's certainly capable.
And did DC win that game?
Yeah, he won the game.
Rizvi scored in the UP, what's it, UP T20 league?
UP T20, yeah. He did okay. He didn't do particularly well. But, the thing is, there are players who look better than the runs, and I think Samir Rizvi always going to be one of them. Yeah, they used to call him Baby Raina at one point of time. He's been around for a while. He's not a spring chicken. I mean, for me, I remember seeing or hearing about him some years ago. So I think he's
quite young. He's about 22.
He's young.
Man, he's been playing. He's
22, yeah.
Then he's
Yeah,
22 on paper.
Okay,
He's 23 this
Let me
year.
figure out when he's made his first class debut.
ESPN Cricket Info says he's 22.
22.
You
Yeah.
have to do like a bone density test to figure out his real age.
They don't do that before the IPL? Like to figure out anybody's
I
ages?
think it doesn't matter. No? He made his first class debut in 2020.
Oh, wow.
I'm
6 years ago.
playing for 6 years. So we played at 16. I know
Not
how
unfortunate.
Tendulkar looked at
At the age of
16.
16. That's what it says. Well, that's what Wikipedia also says.
Shahid Afridi was 25 for a very long time.
I mean, you look at the guys who played for Afghanistan in the recent Under-19 World Cup.
Right. I saw that. Yeah.
Apparently, there was a match where Shahid Afridi, he went to play a one-day international. His age at the start was 23, and then he makes 100. And then when he celebrates, they show his name, and his age is suddenly 18. So he lost 5 years while playing the game. I don't know if any of
What do
you
you
have
say?
watched it.
I'm sure. No, wait. Is that for real? I think if you're able to find that
Yes,
out, I think
yes.
that would be a great story.
I-
So
I
why
don't
don't you
know.
go
That's
check
actually
that out?
happened. That's actually happened somewhere. I'll have to find that out.
So
He
again,
lost 5 years while playing the match.
so coming back to Samir Rizvi, he was a big buy as an uncapped player when CSK bought him, right? When 2023 or whenever he came in.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
the fact is that CSK doesn't make, I mean, at that time didn't make such big purchases on uncapped players, and even now you have to. They get 1 or 2 years to figure out whether they have got the ability to handle the big league. So likewise, you have a couple of CSK players this year. A lot of uncapped players have got good money this time around.
Yeah.
You have to blood them and see how well they do. And Samir, if he is 22, then he's still, and who's already done 2 man of the match performances in his last 2 innings at the IPL. So I think there is prospect, man. Like somebody mentioned about Nitish Rana. I think I also get a good feeling it's going to be a good year for Nitish Rana.
He had a brilliant
I don't think so.
Syed Mushtaq Ali.
The Delhi DPL, right? He was a winning captain.
Wasn't he? But even in the Syed Mushtaq Ali, he did quite well for Delhi.
He did okay.
A comment from Scene Uploader.
DC is too anchory. Is that what you say because KL Rahul is opening?
Oh, come on. You have Patum at the other end. How can any team be angry
What's-
with Patum at the other end?
What is KL Rahul's last 2 years?
500 plus
Well,
runs,
he
I
did.
think. He's made
No, he
runs.
had a very good IPL, but he played at 4. He played at 4 for Delhi Capitals. He didn't.
He has a mixed bag, right? He was partly at 4, partly at.
Yeah.
So he had a 54 average with a 150 strike rate. The year before
That's
that,
good.
he had a.
You
That's
take
damn
150.
good, man. The year before that, he had 520 at an average of 37 and a strike rate of 136. It was
I think
only
there was
that 1 year of 2023, which was the year, I think
Which he was playing for LSG.
The Goenka year, yeah.
LSG would have been 22, 23, 24, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So he had 1 bad year for LSG. So since 2021, Jesus,
It'll
man,
be
from
before that.
2018, he's had 1 bad year.
He's a prolific T20 player, a prolific IPL player. He's got a multiple 500, 600 run seasons.
Multiple 500,
Yeah.
since 2018, apart from 23, his lowest season is 520.
Exactly. He
So
always
KL's very consistent. Yeah, very consistent.
And he's
player.
and it's over the years of 158, 135, 130, 138 strike rate. I don't know where we get this thing that he's an anchor.
No, but I
I
think
think
the
it comes
issue
from-
with KL Rahul.
Where does that narrative come from?
No, I'll
It
tell you
comes
what. I think
from
KL
the
Rahul
maiden
had.
overs that he, remember there was a time when KL Rahul played maiden overs out the first over. I think it was either for an India
No,
game.
but it's
or
not
for-
just that. It's not just that. I think KL Rahul had in his first few years with Punjab, back there when they were still Kings 11 Punjab, he was explosive. Like he's got the fastest IPL 50 as well.
12 ball
season.
50, right? Huh?
Yeah. I think at some point someone told him he has to again bat responsibly and hold the innings together. And after that, for whatever reason, he just eliminated the strokes early on. So he'd always score a bunch of runs, but he'd often score them in a way that was ultimately detrimental to the team. Because if one guy is scoring 60 from 40 balls, that's very rarely enough to win you a T20 game, especially in as we've got the flatter tracks where you have a team like Sunrisers Hyderabad who scores multiple 250 plus totals, you can't have a guy who scores 60 or 40 balls consistently. Because 60 or 40 balls is still going to get you a decent 150 strike rate, but it's not going to be enough to sort of to sustain you, especially in these very, very high scoring games.
Right. That's it. I think, yeah, we've touched upon what today's game was. If we just have a quick look towards tomorrow's game, which is Sunrisers taking on Kolkata Knight Riders. It's I don't know, have the bowling machines already been ordered at Eden Gardens? Because I think the whole thing is about how much of a run fest it's going to be. Because Eden Gardens is also one of those traditional flat tracks in the last couple of years. Though it used to be a fast bowler's paradise sometime back when KKR had all those pacemen in. But that said, KKR and SRH, both teams have lost a game, and we've also seen that while the KKR game was slightly more close in the loss than how uh, SRH lost in the opening game to RCB. But these are two bowling sides that are not extremely strong. But if you had to pick amongst them, which bowling side do you think is stronger amongst the two? Let's go with Trinay.
And SRH hasn't had the greatest bowling attack. They don't have Cummins, so I'm probably going to pick KKR's bowling attack here. I'll probably go with them. But if SRH had Cummins, I'd go with them. I feel it's not too far off, and Cummins could make up that difference. So for now, since Pat Cummins isn't playing and David Payne replaces him, I'll go with KKR's bowling lineup.
And KKR, I think without Sunil Nareen and Varun Chakrabarti firing in that additional thing, look slightly weak if they're just depending on Vaibhav Arora and Blessing Muzarabani, who's just starting to warm up to Indian conditions or warm up to the IPL. And they have another old Indian pacer in Kartik Tyagi, who made his debut in 2019-20 for Rajasthan Royals and has not really been seen much around. But given that, I just feel that KKR is extremely weak on paper with respect to the bowlers or the options that they have. With Sunrisers, again, you have Purple Patel there.
What's the status on Patirana?
I think he's gone.
He's-
Patirana
He's
failed the
out,
fitness
isn't
test. No, he
He's
failed the
out?
fitness test today. He failed the fitness test today, so Sri Lanka is not
So
sending.
do they get to name a replacement then?
Should
They're
should
blessing.
potentially.
Is there a free
Who's
available
left?
fit fast bowler in the
Yeah,
world? Is there someone?
Shaheen Shah Afridi.
No, he's saying. I think he's talking about in the squad, right? Or you're talking
No,
about?
I'm saying in the world.
No,
Is there
in the
anybody
world,
left?
in the world.
Who-
There
there's
is no
some- if
one.
you had a choice of any fast bowler you wanted, who would you get? There's nobody left.
I mean, if SRH had to sign David Payne, this guy's a domestic. He's pretty good. Domestic bowler. But again, domestic bowler. If they have
Not
to
even
sign
like
him,
I've seen him in the 100. I've never heard of him before that. I saw him in the 100. He's he's left-handed. That's about it, right? I mean,
That's
his
all,
only
yeah.
thing. That's
Taimal Mills is probably going to get a call at some point.
yeah, I don't know.
restop play.
Yeah, I remember 2017 his stocks really went up. But that said, I think I remember Nirav saying that SRH's fastest bowler, the most attacking bowler was Reddy
Nitish Reddy.
bowling at 132. So yeah, we're having basically two very mismatched sides in bowling. But if the spinners, Varun Chakrabarti and Sunil Nareen, are able to find their earlier form, I think they might be ahead. But otherwise, it's just a question of who probably outbats each other. And I'd probably put this game as the game of two teams trying to outbat each other. But yeah, bowling's when I look at both the options, I may say all this, but I think as much as Star Sports expected 300 run totals in the T20 World Cup, we had very different games. So one doesn't know what kind of a surface is going to greet.
I was
Because
actually
whatever
gonna
we
ask,
saw,
is tomorrow possibly the first 300 run IPL total?
It could
Yeah,
be with
but
these bowling
I don't know
attacks.
what the thing with the Eden Gardens pitch over the years. It's like one day, in the international it's playing one way, in the IPL it's playing another way. It's been such a random lottery, so it depends on what they're tailoring it to. Are they tailoring it to spin bowling?
See, look at it this way. SRH have three guys who bowl slower balls and cutters, and they don't do it very well. Harshal Patel has not been at his best. David Payne came from
Didn't
God
Harshal
knows
Patel
where.
get the purple cap 2 years ago?
Yeah, but did he have a back injury after that?
24 with Punjab. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
No, he got a. I'm pretty sure he injured his back after that, and he's not been the
Yeah,
same.
yes, he's been struggling. He's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Even he had to withdraw from his SMAT team and also.
Yeah, and you have Nitish Kumar Reddy bowling the first over, and yeah, I still feel that you have a little more fun, better options with KKR, so it could be them. But still, yeah, it's gonna be a bat off really, unless they make a spicy deck. Which I
O'Neil
don't think they will.
Batman. He was pretty good. Eh?
Oh yeah, Bartman was yeah. Oh yeah. CSK also lost Spencer Johnson, right? So they could be going for Bartman.
But
They've
yes,
lost
does
a couple of
this-
backups.
Is this
So
rule
essentially
still
we're
in
talking-
play?
Sorry.
The rule of you have to have it registered in the auction to be eligible as a replacement.
absolutely. I think they will only go within that list. I don't think they're going to go scouting randomly for somebody who's even if they found someone very interesting, because you need to register in that first auction, which happened last year. So I'm guessing they're going to go through that list. I don't know if they can or they're allowed to, because they want to prevent people from entering the mini auction. But this is
Yeah.
a replacement player.
But
this is a
Bartman was
replacement.
Replacement, yeah.
Yeah.
And as Neerav said, there's not many very good fit fast bowlers in the world besides, I don't know, Naseem Shah.
I feel like the replacement players have been, and the rule on replacement players has been a little bit loose over the years.
Yeah, it's
To put
been a
it
little
mildly.
murky.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know that this would be a deal breaker.
I mean,
If
they
they
might
really
if there's no bowler, they might as well get a batter.
Maybe. Do they need any more batsmen? Like seriously, they have plenty.
Yeah, Josh
They have-
Tongue might be a good option, but Josh Tongue will have to
He
report
can't play
by
T20.
the 17th of April, but most times, no. Test
I don't
match
think he
bowlers
can
will
play T20. See,
No, he's pretty good. I saw him in one white ball for a game. He's not bad.
I don't think if you give him the deck we saw today for today's game, he'll be good. But how many times are we going to see a deck like today's? They could have a flat track tomorrow, and we could see 300. I know everybody's been saying that, but tomorrow's is probably the most volatile game we're going to see, because half of SRH's batsmen and half of KKR's batsmen are all hit. Not even half. All of them, they're all hit and miss batsmen. Like head Abhishek and Kishan could be gone
I
inside.
think it's a
of
little
over, right?
reductive to call Travis Head, Ishan Kishan, and Abhishek Sharma hit and hit miss batsmen.
No. We saw what happened last year. Like they all would get out in sprays and then
Alzari Joseph is not in any team, right? Currently,
no, I don't think so.
Alzari Joseph is in
Seems-
Pakistan. He's in PSL right now, Alzari.
that's
Oh,
okay.
they'll leave it. Yeah, he'll come.
Really?
That's not a problem.
He's a
But yeah,
prospect for some teams, depending on.
He had a brilliant debut with Mumbai Indians however many years ago,
Yeah.
but since then he's
Six-
not
Yeah,
well at
that
it.
six wickets, right, in
Six wickets,
Hyderabad.
yeah.
What about? I'm trying to see West Indies. Who else is left? Jaden Seals is there.
Shama Joseph, but he's injured.
Shama Joseph is with one of the teams, I think, right? Is it?
He was with LSG. I don't think he's
LSG,
anymore.
yeah.
But is he
He
still
could
there?
be injured. Shields is not getting in. He's a nippy bowler, a Mukesh Kumar style bowler. I don't think he gets in.
But anyway, I think the whole point was that as we tend to go and wonder who else can replace, we're now looking at two teams trying to outbat each other tomorrow in Kolkata versus Sunrisers Hyderabad. And but nevertheless, I think we've now hit close to 53 minutes from what we spoke. Thanks to and we've also hit a half century. I think yesterday we were stuck on 49, or did we hit 50? I don't know. So consistently clocking 50 people. Thanks for all the 50 people who've tuned in, and for the ones who are regularly commenting on our channel. But do subscribe to the Cow Corner Dugout. We'd be happy. You'd get notified first as soon as we're starting our show. For those who are watching on my Twitter stream, thanks for tuning in, and please do subscribe to the Cow Corner
Before we
Dugout.
leave,
Till then,
predictions,
Oh,
guys.
yes.
Predictions for tomorrow. Predictions for tomorrow. We'll start
sure,
with the
let's have that.
Yeah.
The team which wins the toss.
Oh come on, not again.
I'm sticking with that. I've got
Shama,
5 on
what
5
about
with
you?
that. No?
Sunrisers.
Karthik.
I'll go with KKR.
I'll go with SRH then. We'll see who's right tomorrow. Yeah.
My sense is KKR had the slightly stronger bowling attack versus Sunrisers with the two games net run rate. If you see the difference, I just think they lost it out in the last 5 overs with their batting. MI basically, that's where MI basically went ahead. Otherwise, it's a fairly close game. So KKR, we tend to underestimate them, but they're not in the same league as SRH. SRH is in a completely different league. I think KKR is ahead. That's where I'm picking. And if somebody wants a triple super over tomorrow, but that will mean we're going to be staying up till 1 a.m. But for now,
More yawns.
it's more yawns. Yeah, more yawns. In fact, I remember somebody put that comment yesterday on me saying that Karthik is yawning. Yawn Sambat. So, on that note, we
Sweet dreams.
shall say, yeah, sweet dreams, and see you tomorrow.